Hi. In this video essay, I'm just joking, I'm not smart enough for that stuff. Nearly a year ago, I bought my first CRT TV for an SNES and some games which I've wanted to try for a long time. I could have easily emulated these games, but I had a growing interest in retro games and finally wanted to have a mostly authentic experience from a generation of games I never grew up in. I don't normally make videos like this, or videos at all, but I wanted to show the importance of these displays. I'm not going to try and educate you on how a CRT TV works because there's plenty of other YouTube channels out there which could do a way better job at that than I could. I just want to show footage and pictures of older games running on this display and why the effect that the CRT TV produces is incredibly important for these games. I also made this video to demonstrate the alternatives to buying a CRT TV, so if you're interested in playing these older games with the same effect, some options include scalers which can cost a lot of money, or shaders and emulation which need a capable display. Before I continue, it's important to mention that having a CRT or a CRT filter is not some sort of quirky choice. These games were designed for their art to leverage the display flaws of this technology, which allowed them to produce colors and effects which were not possible to natively output. The color bleeding and what I like to call fuzziness of a CRT was incredibly beneficial for these consoles. The older games couldn't use as many colors as we can nowadays for sprites, so when we take a look at this next comparison, you'll see how beneficial it really is. The thumbnail of this YouTube video is not an exaggeration. The picture on the right was a close-up with my phone camera. You can see how the picture on the left goes from having harsh colors and a blocky appearance to having smoothed out highlights and features. It makes it look like a drawing, and given that the characters were designed by Akira Toriyama, I'm certain that this is the intended look. Another good example of using color bleeding is Sonic the Hedgehog's waterfall transparency. I can't show it myself on this CRT as I don't own the console, but it still takes advantage of the same color bleeding property by using dithering to produce the effect. I'll show another example of dithering when I get into the shaders and emulation part of this video, but for now, here are more examples of sprites looking way better on a CRT TV. So what are the alternatives? As much as I want to encourage people to go out and look for a CRT to play these games, they can be big, have display issues which can be hard to fix, and strangely enough, expensive. I know I said earlier in the video that I was going to demonstrate what scalers and emulation filters can do, but truthfully, I can't show scalers, because a good scaler capable of emulating a CRT display is very expensive. I'm not entirely sure if there are cheaper or better scalers which exist, but if there are, please let me know in the comments. That leaves us with emulation filters, which have had amazing contributions from passionate people in the retro gaming community to get the most accurate CRT effect on a modern display. For this example, I'm running Silent Hill 1 in RetroArch. Without a filter, you'll notice that there's a checkered pattern on the entire street, which is very pronounced as the colors transition from the visible road to the fog. This is intentional, just not for modern displays we have. But if I enable one of the many CRT filters from Retro Crisis, you can clearly see that it helps smooth out all of the checkered coloring and turns it into a smooth gradient. This also smooths out any sort of weird pixelated models, like the main character. I could go on and on with examples, especially in 3D games, as they also benefit a lot from these filters, but I think you get the idea. I'll leave the tutorial for downloading these filters in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something from it. This is a relatively new hobby of mine, and as I said before, I don't normally use this channel to upload videos, but I feel very passionate about sharing the amazing benefit of running these games on their intended displays, or using scalers and filters to have the same effect. I encourage all of you who watch this video to try and find a CRT, get a scaler, or use shaders if you're interested in playing these older games, and check out other videos online from people who are much more experienced at this stuff than I am. It's amazing how much better these games can look. I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a great day.